unseen enemy. A person sits alone in a quiet, dark room. The only light around creates shadows that seem to dance across their face. Inside, their emotions are crashing like waves: anger, fear, sadness, guilt. Each emotion is sharp, vivid, and heavy. For a moment, the silence feels louder than words. And isn't this something we've all experienced? The storm inside us. One moment you feel fine, and the next, you're pulled down by thoughts and feelings you don't even fully understand. That's the thing about emotions. They're messy, powerful, and sometimes overwhelming. Many people say that emotions are the very thing that make us human. And that's true. They connect us. They allow us to feel joy, love, and excitement. But here's the hidden side. Emotions can also trap us. Think of them as invisible chains wrapped around your mind. You don't see them, but they hold you back, quietly shaping your choices, your habits, your reactions. Not every emotion is a gift. Some are like poison, slowly dripping into your thoughts day after day. Fear can stop you from taking the chances that would change your life. Anger can destroy relationships you worked so hard to build. Sadness can steal your energy, leaving you stuck in the same place. And guilt can eat away at your confidence, making you believe you're less than you really are. Here's the hard truth. If we don't take control of our emotions, they will take control of us. You might think you're making decisions, but often it's your emotions making them for you. Have you ever looked back at a choice and wondered, why did I do that? Chances are, it was emotion, unnoticed, unchallenged, and in charge. But what if it didn't have to be this way? What if you could step out of those invisible chains and finally become the one in control of your inner world? That's where alpha psychology comes in. Alpha psychology isn't just another self-help idea. It's a framework, a powerful system designed to give you the tools to master your emotions. And when I say master, I don't mean suppressing them or pretending they don't exist. I mean truly understanding them, managing them, and using them as fuel instead of obstacles. Imagine being able to feel anger, but not be consumed by it. To notice fear, but not let it stop you. To experience sadness, but still move forward with strength. As the famous psychologist Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Think about that. Most of us walk through life on autopilot, reacting to situations without realizing those reactions are being controlled by hidden emotions and old patterns. We think we're free, but inside, we're being pushed around by forces we don't even see. That changes today. Today marks the beginning of your journey into yourself. A journey where we uncover the shadows, bring hidden emotions into the light, and reclaim control over your mind and your life. This is not about becoming someone different. This is about becoming your true self, a self not weighed down by fear, not shackled by guilt, and not ruled by anger. It's about breaking free and mastering the one thing you will carry with you forever, your mind. So take a breath, open your heart and your mind, and step with me into alpha psychology, the science and art of emotional mastery. This is where your transformation begins. What are emotions? Emotions are not as simple as we often think. They aren't just a single feeling like happiness, sadness, or anger. Instead, they are complicated reactions, part biological, part mental. On one side, your body reacts physically. Maybe your heart races, your palms sweat, or your muscles tighten. On the other side, your mind interprets those signals and gives them meaning. That combination, body plus mind, creates the emotions we feel. Think about it. Your heart starts pounding fast. Now, if you're facing a wild animal, your brain names that signal fear. If you're about to step on stage in front of a crowd, your brain might call it nervous excitement. The body gives the signal, but the mind writes the story. This is why emotions are so powerful. They're not just what you feel, they're also how you interpret what's happening inside and around you. From an evolutionary perspective, emotions have been absolutely vital to human survival. Imagine early humans living in dangerous environments. Fear told them to run from predators. Anger gave them energy to defend themselves. Joy created bonds between family and tribe members, helping them stay united. In other words, emotions acted like a built-in guidance system. They warned us about dangers, motivated us to take action, and strengthened our chances of survival. But survival is not the only role emotions play. They are also the glue of human relationships. Love, joy, compassion. These emotions draw us closer to one another. They allow us to care for family, trust friends, and build societies. Social connections are not built on logic alone. They are built with the depth, warmth, and energy of emotions. Now, to better understand emotions, psychologists often group them into two big categories: primary emotions and secondary emotions. Primary emotions are universal. They include fear, anger, joy, and sadness. Whether you live in Asia, Africa, America, or Europe, these emotions are the same. They are hardwired into every human being, a shared language of the soul. A baby cries in sadness or laughs in joy without ever being taught. It's instinct. Secondary emotions, on the other hand, are more complex. They develop as we grow, shaped by personal experiences, culture, and social expectations. Feelings like guilt, shame, jealousy, and pride belong to this category. These emotions add multiple layers of meaning to our experiences. Unlike primary emotions, they're not automatic for everyone. They depend on how we were raised, what we believe, and how we've been influenced by the world around us. So here's the interesting part. Emotions have a dual nature. They can either work for us or against us. On the positive side, emotions are protectors. They warn us of threats, keep us safe, encourage us to bond with others, and help us find joy in life. But when left unchecked, emotions can transform into predators. They can trap us, keeping us stuck in cycles of anger, fear, or despair. Instead of guiding us, they start controlling us. And that's when peace and clarity disappear. Have you ever noticed how one bad mood can ruin an entire day? A single burst of irritation might lead to arguments. A lingering sadness might make you avoid people. Fear, left unchallenged, can stop you from chasing opportunities that could change your future. This is exactly why mastering emotions is so important. Daniel Goleman, a leading voice on emotional intelligence, once said, "Emotional self-awareness is the building block of the next fundamental emotional intelligence, being able to shake off a bad mood." Those words carry a lot of power. The first step toward emotional mastery is awareness. You cannot control what you don't even recognize. By naming and understanding your emotions, you take away half of their power over you. So the journey begins with a simple but life-changing step: noticing what you feel when you feel it, and why. That awareness becomes the key that can unlock self-control, freedom, and peace. The evil side of emotions. Emotions can be our strongest allies, guiding us, motivating us, and helping us connect with others. But when emotions take over, when they become too strong and uncontrollable, they transform into our worst enemies. This overwhelming state is called emotional hijacking. Emotional hijacking happens when raw feelings override reason and logic. Instead of thinking calmly, emotions grab the wheel and drive us into chaos. In those moments, anger, fear, jealousy, or shame become so powerful that rational thought disappears. And the results can be costly: impulsive choices, broken relationships, lost opportunities, and sometimes even careers that fall apart. Think about it. How many times have people said words they couldn't take back when they were angry? How often has fear stopped someone from chasing a dream, or jealousy pushed a person to act in ways that drove loved ones away? Emotional hijacking doesn't just cause small mistakes, it can completely redirect the course of a life. When emotions hijack us, they also distort reality. Jealousy, for example, can take a small doubt and spiral it into obsession. You begin imagining betrayals that don't exist. Trust crumbles, suspicion grows, and eventually relationships collapse, not because of facts, but because of feelings. Anger is another dangerous one. In the heat of the moment, it feels powerful, even justified, but it often fuels aggression, conflict, and violence. And once the storm has passed, regret remains like a scar. Fear, though quieter, is just as destructive. It freezes us in place, making us ignore golden opportunities for growth, success, and happiness. Fear shrinks the world until you feel too small to move. Sigmund Freud once warned of this hidden danger. He said, "Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways." His words still ring true today. We may try to bury our anger, our sadness, or our pain, but pushing emotions down doesn't destroy them. Instead, they grow in the dark, becoming heavier, sharper, and eventually bursting out in ways we can't control. Suppression is not safety, it's a ticking time bomb. And here's something many people forget. Emotions are not only individual, they are social forces. They move through groups, communities, and even entire nations. Look at groupthink, when people silence their doubts and conform to what everyone else seems to believe, even when it makes no sense. This is the power of shared emotions. People value belonging over truth. Consider propaganda, used throughout history to control minds. It doesn't persuade with logic. It manipulates emotions like fear, pride, or hatred to steer entire populations. Then there's emotional contagion, a phenomenon where moods spread like wildfire. You walk into a room full of anxious people, and suddenly you feel uneasy too. You scroll through angry posts on social media, and soon the anger feels like your own. In today's world, media and politics actively use this. They amplify fear, anger, and outrage, not to inform but to influence. Instead of bringing people together, this emotional manipulation divides societies, creating us versus them, and making people easier to control. This is the dark side of emotions. It shows us the truth we cannot ignore. Emotions are not always gentle guides. Sometimes they are predators in disguise, taking over our choices, our behaviors, and our communities. And this is why emotional mastery is not just a personal skill, it is a survival skill. Mastering emotions doesn't mean shutting them down. It means recognizing them, understanding them, and refusing to let them rule unchecked. Because if we do not master our emotions, someone or something else will use them against us. And that's not just about personal freedom, that's about protecting clarity, peace, and truth in our relationships, our communities, and our world. So remember this, your emotions shape your life. But whether they become protectors or predators, that choice is yours. Alpha psychology, mastering the beast. Alpha psychology is not just a fancy idea or a buzzword. It is a mindset. It is a method. And most importantly, it is the path to emotional self-dominance. At its core, alpha psychology means becoming the alpha of your internal world. It means taking the driver's seat of your emotional life so that you master your emotions instead of being dragged around by them. Think about it. Every day, life throws challenges at you. People make you angry, situations trigger fear, sadness sneaks up out of nowhere, and guilt whispers in your ear when you least expect it. If you don't master these emotions, they master you. Alpha psychology is the shift that flips this dynamic. It allows you to step up and say, No, I run this mind. I decide what these emotions mean and what they will do for me. This whole framework rests on three powerful pillars, three steps that together form the foundation of emotional mastery. Pillar 1. Awareness. The first step is awareness. It sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest. You can't control what you don't notice. Awareness is about clearly naming what you feel in the moment. Instead of drowning in emotions, you step back and say, okay, I'm feeling anger, or this is fear, or right now, I feel sadness. By naming the emotion, you shine a light on it. And once a feeling has a name, it no longer hides in the dark. Think of it like taming a wild animal. Awareness is the first leash you place on it. Pillar 2. Control. Next comes control. Now, control doesn't mean pushing emotions down or pretending they aren't there. It means pausing, creating space between the trigger and your response. Imagine someone insults you at work. Your first reaction might be to yell or hit back, but control gives you the power of choice. By delaying your reaction, by not letting your emotions take over instantly, you can channel them in ways that don't destroy you or the people around you. Control lets you say, I feel the anger, but I choose not to let it dictate my action. Pillar 3. Direction. The third pillar is direction. This is where mastery becomes transformative. Once you're aware of your emotions and you've gained control over your reactions, you can now use those emotions as fuel. Instead of letting anger burn everything in its path, you can direct it into determination to make positive change. Instead of letting fear trap you, you can let it sharpen your focus and prepare you for the challenge ahead. Direction turns emotions from cages into engines. It gives you the power to transform what once held you back into what now pushes you forward. But alpha psychology is not just philosophy. It comes with tools you can use every single day, tools that help you strengthen these three pillars and truly reshape your emotional life. Journaling, writing about your daily emotions, helps reveal patterns and triggers you may not even notice while living them. On paper, the picture becomes clearer. Mindfulness and breathwork. These practices ground you in the present moment. A racing heart, shallow breath, or tense muscles are physical signals of emotions. Breathing deeply and mindfully helps calm both the body and the mind. Cognitive reframing. This is the art of changing your perspective. For example, instead of seeing a failure as proof that you're not good enough, reframe it as feedback, proof that you're learning, growing, and preparing for something better. Emotional reprogramming through intentional self-talk, or what some call inner dialogue. You can rewrite the stories you tell yourself about emotions. Instead of saying, I'm overwhelmed by fear, you begin to say, I notice my fear and I choose to walk with it. Slowly, your relationship with feelings transforms. Daniel Goleman, the well-known psychologist and author, summarized this beautifully. He said, in a very real sense, we have two minds, one that thinks and one that feels. Alpha psychology is the bridge between these two. It is about bringing thought and feeling into harmony. No one mind has to dominate the other. Instead, they work together with awareness, with wisdom, and with balance. When you live this way, you don't just react, you respond with purpose. You don't just feel, you use feelings as tools, and you don't just survive your emotions, you master them. That is the essence of alpha psychology. That is emotional self-dominance. Transformation, from victim to master. Imagine someone caught in the storm of their emotions. They are trapped in what we call emotional victimhood. Overwhelming feelings crush them. Anger, fear, sadness, guilt, all pressing down like waves that never seem to stop. Day after day, they break a little more under the weight. They feel powerless, chained by emotions that seem far bigger than their strength. For this person, life feels heavy. And this is where the journey begins, at rock bottom. the place where the shadows are thickest and the light feels far away. But here's the beauty of rock bottom. When things seem darkest, it often becomes the starting point of something extraordinary. That breaking point is also the moment of awakening. Through the practice of alpha psychology, this individual begins to do something most people avoid. They stop running away from their emotions. Instead, they turn around and face them directly. Picture a person standing in front of a mirror. In that reflection, they don't just see their face. They see every hidden feeling, every buried fear, every memory of pain that was locked away. Instead of flinching or denying, they say, "This is me. This is what I've carried." It's terrifying. Yes, but this moment of courage unlocks transformation. Because here's the truth. You can't heal what you refuse to face. And when this individual finally confronts the shadows, there's a shift. What once felt like fire burning everything in its path now becomes a fire under control. Instead of destruction, that fire becomes a torch. And as it lights up, the path forward becomes clear. The same emotions that once threatened to destroy them are now being used as energy, as power, as tools for rebuilding. This is the heart of transformation. The fire that once hurt now illuminates. What was once weakness now becomes strength. Confusion turns into clarity. Chains become keys. That's the power of emotional mastery, shifting from being a prisoner of emotions to being their commander. The arc of this journey is truly powerful. It begins with breakdown, where emotions crush and overwhelm. From there comes awakening, the moment of courage where a person finally confronts their emotional self. And then comes rebuilding, the stage where emotions are no longer enemies but allies, where the self rises stronger, clearer, and freer than ever before. Carl Jung expressed this timeless truth when he wrote, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." His words remind us that true mastery doesn't come from ignoring pain or pretending darkness doesn't exist. Enlightenment comes when we dare to face that darkness, shine light on it, and integrate it into who we are. That's what alpha psychology is all about. Not escape, not denial, but transformation. By embracing the hidden parts of ourselves, by making the darkness conscious, we unlock a new kind of strength. A strength that doesn't collapse under fear, guilt, or anger, but instead harnesses them as fuel. In the end, this is not just a journey of emotions, it is the journey of the self, from breakdown to awakening to transformation, and finally to rebuilding. The path of emotional dominance creates not just survival, but liberation. Control the storm. Emotions are among the most powerful forces within us. They are the energy that moves us, the spark that fuels our actions, and the depth that gives our lives meaning. When they're guided well, emotions can inspire incredible strength. They can bring people together, build lasting connections, and even help us survive the toughest challenges life throws our way. But let's be honest, when emotions are left alone, uncontrolled, and allowed to run wild, they can become destructive storms. Anger can tear apart relationships you worked years to build. Fear can paralyze your decision-making, keeping you from the opportunities that could change your life. Sadness, when heavy and unchecked, can drain your energy, leaving you stuck in cycles of regret. And guilt can whisper lies that keep you trapped in self-doubt. Without mastery, these storms rage and tear down the peace, clarity, and strength that every one of us needs. Here's the truth. Real strength doesn't come from pushing emotions away, burying them, or pretending they don't exist. Suppression only makes them stronger, hiding beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to explode. True strength comes from mastery. It comes from dominating your emotional world through 3 core steps: awareness, control, and direction. This is the heart of alpha psychology. Awareness means truly seeing what you feel in the moment and naming it with honesty. Control means creating space between the trigger and the reaction, choosing response instead of reaction. Direction means using your emotions as energy to drive forward, rather than letting them cage you in the past. Awareness, control, direction. When you master these three pillars, emotions are no longer storms to fear. They become the winds that push your sails, carrying you toward the life you want to experience. Now pause right here and reflect on yourself. Ask, am I truly the alpha in my own mind? Am I leading myself with calm, clarity, and strength? Or are my emotions leading me? Am I steering my own life, or am I simply reacting to waves I don't control? This one simple question has the power to change everything, because the moment you realize that mastery is possible, you begin taking back the steering wheel of your life. And if you're ready to dive deeper into this journey, then the path is right in front of you. In our very next episode, we'll walk step by step into the daily rituals for emotional mastery, simple practices you can use every day to build awareness, strengthen control, and redirect your emotions into unstoppable momentum. If you'd like to start even sooner, check the description below for a free guide we've created to help you start your transformation right now. It's filled with tools, exercises, and methods you can put into practice immediately. Remember, mastering your inner world is not about perfection, it's about progress. Every step you take, every moment you choose awareness over reaction, every time you redirect your emotions instead of being enslaved by them, you move closer to becoming the alpha of your own mind. When you master the storm within, you gain the power to master every part of your life. Your choices, your relationships, your success, and your peace. That journey starts here. That journey starts with you.